They say the future's in a constant state of flux. But when it comes to data management, is that really the case? Well, we're going to explore that a little bit today on the Data Radio Show. Hello there, welcome to this week's episode of the Data Radio Show, where we're going to be doing a little bit of exploration around some of the predictions for data management and AI over the next couple of years. This week, Sam's going to be sitting down and having a chat to Sheng Lang, who's from Tech Data, and they're going to be taking a look at some of the predictions that are out there in terms of how we're going to see the world evolve around generative AI and other forms of AI. But before we get to that interview, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Feel free to leave a comment down below as well. It's always good to get the interactions and, feed the algorithm as it were. Anyway, let's jump over to that interview now between Sam and Sheng.
Hello, listeners and viewers. Today on the Data Radio Show, we're going to be talking about AI governance. I'm joined by Sheng Lang from Tech Data, and we're going to delve a little bit into what are some of the key trends that have emerged over 2024 and what we're going to see unfold in 2025, especially around the topic and subject of AI governance. Hi, Sheng. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sam. Very excited to be here today with this new trading topic.
Super. I guess one of the things that we've seen from the likes of Gartner, for instance, is a prediction that AI governance is going to be one of the hot topics or issues for 2025. And I suppose this has kind of been brought into focus by a number of legislative changes or compliance changes that have come into force or are in the process of coming into force over 2024. The most notable of which is the EU AI Act. And in Australia, I think that there has been some discussion about a code of conduct or a compliance regime that's been tabled in 2024. So maybe let's just start with the AI Act, of the EU AI Act, and some of the implications of that. Can you just give listeners a little bit of an insight into that subject?
Yeah, of course. So for AI governance, I think it's very important concept for deploy AI. Of course, when you deploy AI, build an AI use case, the AI governance is also need to be in place. And a EU AI Act, I think, is the first law to manage these AI applications for all the organization. I do have a short presentation to kind of quickly go through the AI governance, the main concept, and also some we call that guardrails for AI governance. So we start something simple. Think about the typical process for you develop an AI application or AI system. So you start to build, and this one can build on different cloud provider, and then you deploy this one and make it ready for your customer or end users. But when this is simply process, but when it comes to the AI governance, there will be more than that. Essentially, I think there's three concepts for AI governance. The first one is AI documentation. So that means you need to have the document for your AI use case, what is the target user, and what model you have used in your AI system. That is AI documentation. It's more like think about a product. You have this nutrition label for a specific product. That is the AI nutrition label for your AI applications. The second part will be the evaluation and the monitoring. So that is like when you develop this AI application, you need to do the testing, check different metrics, make sure that meet the expectations. And when you deploy this AI in production, environment, you need to monitor it, make sure the AI system still behave as expected. The third part will be um, uh, model risk governance. So that part is more from the business owners, stakeholders, besides developer, to make sure your use case is aligned with different regulation, compliance, and also do some risk assessment to have a guardrail and internal audit before it go to development phase and production phase. So all these three main component is essential for AI governance, which we can see more detail shortly from the Australia AI safety standard, how that reflect in this 10 guardrails in that standard report.
Sorry, just to summarize then, from the documentation standpoint, one of the things that the EU AI Act requires is that you have a clear and concise and precise documentation of a particular application. And then from a process standpoint, how you are evaluating and monitoring for things like accuracy, drift, bias, and explainability. Maybe just delve into a little bit more around what do we mean by drift and bias and explainability?
Yeah, this is a very important metrics to evaluate the AI system or AI application. We start with the drift. So drift basically mean there's something change in the data we feed into the AI system. If we think about how the AI system developed, it will based on some historical data, either from the equipment or from the customer or from some activity. And based on historical data, AI will make some recommendation or prediction for people to make business decisions. So over time, this data maybe change. It can be some seasonal reason, or there can be some change in the larger scale, like social economics. So that drift will make our historical data is not applicable or not the best historical data to do the prediction. So that is a drift. Another part for explainability. What that means is we need to have a good understanding how AI make this decision. So that I think from the traditional machine learning perspective, that one will be similar to understand is, for example, we predict if some customer will churn or will quit their program or quit their membership in a few months. Then based on that prediction, we need to explain um, why we make this kind of prediction. What is a key driver or key factors to cause this customer to churn? So that is one example for explainability. So that help us to better use AI outcomes to make a decision.
Yeah, I have an anecdote with respect to drift. Apparently, there were questions put to an LLM agent or chat window in the month of May, and the same questions were asked of that LLM in the month of December. And it actually decided to cheat, or it had learnt that people did the job much quicker in the month of December because they were anticipating going on holiday. And so the answers that you got in December were different to the answers that you got in May, because the 2 months were actually considered to be different sociological behavior or times in relation to work behavior and sociological behavior. So, as peculiar as that example might seem, there are these aspects of how neural networks work in their reasoning that we haven't actually figured out the reason why. Like the inference that had been taken between completing a task in May was different to the inference of the task in the month of December, purely because people actually spent much less time on solving a problem because they wanted to go on holiday. And I guess, again, to summarize the third one, so around model risk governance, so the one that I hone in on here is around incident management. So actually, the evaluation and monitoring gives you the opportunity to be able to see that it's behaving differently at different times, for instance, or you're seeing drifts away from the norm in terms of answers and responses from a neural network. Talk a little bit more about how the model governance, or the governance model, works in relation to risk.
Yeah, so the instance management is a good example. First of all, you can see the connection between all these three components. The instance is, we know that based on our monitoring, if we notice there is a drift, there is accuracy reduced lower than before, or there is some unexpected behavior from the models, we will have that as a flag as instance. Then that will go to the our, let's say we have some tool like dashboard to reflect, okay, we have some models have this non-compliant behavior. You need to do more investigate. So that will come back to the evaluation. So we'll first to see which part we have this issue. It can be some bias or accuracy is lower than before. Then we'll do more evaluation or do testing to figure out which is the issue come from. Then that means we will do more development to retrain the model or to add more guardrail or change the prompt part to try to avoid that in the future. Then all this change can be like change log. We need to do the documentation um, to, as our record to prevent that happen in the future. So all this is kind of like work together process or like a cycle. You need to ongoing effort to make it perform and manage these models.
Great. I guess I believe you've got some more to talk about here.
Yeah, so there is more information around governance. So besides this process and the main activity, there will be more involved from a people side. Like you need different um, teammate, which come from different department like audit, risk management, data or analytics team, project management to work together to make this as a smoothness or a great framework to manage AI. And also there's for now in EU AI Act, there is a penalty, a big penalty if people against this law. Um, so I think that may be one of the main motivation. And for this is more detail. So how that EU AI Act articles, like each articles, they basically is like some guidance for you to make sure you're um, within this AI Act to how to associate to different activity. Similarly, in Australia, we recently have this AI safety standard in August 2024, and there is a 10 guardrails. We can quickly see, first of all, you need to have some accountability process to make sure the model and your AI strategy, AI system is applying to the regulatory complex that will definitely involve AI governance and also risk management. And also there's um, for evaluation like testing AI model, the evaluation we discussed. We also have this make sure you uh, show people and the end user is informed this is AI enabled decision to make sure people know what that is and have more transparency and explainability. So you can see all this AI safety standard is aligned with EU AI Act and also aligned with the three main component we discussed. One difference for now is this is voluntary, it's not law yet, but I think I know we are for Australia is in the process to make it mandatory, is in this consultation process to finalize this AI safety standard. So it will definitely will be a very hot topic in 2025 um, when this come to more mandatory and more government will have to um, follow this to make their own AI offering or AI system. And the governance is definitely, yeah.
I guess that brings us to one of the predictions that there is from Gartner, and they claim that by 2028, enterprises using AI governance platforms will achieve a 30% higher customer trust rating and 25% better regulatory compliance scores than their competitors. So those may seem to be relatively soft measures of uh, uh, the idea of customer trust ratings, but trust is incredibly important in terms of the viability and agility of your business to adapt to disruption. So if people don't trust you, they're less likely to engage with your products and services as your reputation is impacted. Similarly, the penalties from an EU perspective, and I think the important thing here to note is that it doesn't matter if you are a business that is domiciled in the European Union, or you're an Australian business, for instance, or a US based business. So long as you're doing business in the European Union, you have to comply with these regulations. And so the impact of the EU Act, very similar to GDPR, actually has a worldwide impact if you're delivering any form of digital service into the European Union. Is there anything you kind of want to add there, Sean?
Just a comment for the first part. I think the AI governance, the reputation is definitely the more important concept or more important asset we for AI governance. Analogy I heard before is um, AI governance is more like navigation. If for vehicle, if we think the company is a vehicle, it's more like navigation. Um, to make sure you're on the right track, all these guardrails or some check that is more like a safety back. You don't want to use that um, guardrail when like only happened when there is something wrong in the AI model. You want to manage that earlier to navigate your AI system on the right track.
Great. Well, so that's number one of a number of topics that we'll be talking about in relation to 2025 and what you need to consider over the holiday break. Thanks, Sean, for your time today. And we'll see listeners and viewers for the next one.
Thank you. Looking forward to that.
Hey, I want to thank Sam and Sheng for this week's episode. It's really informative to sit down and listen to someone who is so knowledgeable about what it is that they're talking about. It's like really invigorating, actually. It's kind of cool to sit down and get that insight from the experts. Anyway, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that share button or like button or subscribe so you can get more great content as we upload it. And don't forget to make sure you keep checking in all the time for great new stuff that we're putting out there. Anyway, have a fantastic week, live long and prosper, and may the force be with you.